Hola, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos de nuevo a Kingdom Come Deliverance. Bueno, en el vídeo anterior tuvimos el asedio al castillo de Talmberk, que fue una masacre por parte de los dos bandos. Prácticamente solo quedamos con vida los nobles. Bueno, Henry no es que sea noble, pero sí que tiene media sangre de noble, ya que Sir Radzig es su padre. Pero bueno, sí que conseguimos controlar el castillo y la única manera de parar esa masacre y de no derramar más sangre fue entregarle una tregua a Itzvan a cambio de los prisioneros. Él podría huir hasta salir de los dominios de Sir Hanus. Y bueno, liberó a Lady Stephanie, pero se quedó con Sir Radzig y con la espada de... Bueno, iba a decir del padre de Henry, pero realmente parece ser que no era su padre. Y he hecho que prometía liberar a Sir Radzig en Skalice, lo cual no es una gran idea, ya que ese terreno está plagado de bandidos. Así que parece que Hans Capon y yo vamos a ir en su busca para traer de vuelta a Sir Radzig. Y si encontramos a Itzvan en el camino, pues intentaremos también quitarlo de en medio. En fin, vamos allá.
Yeah. Well, what I mean is, hats off to you, Hal. You wouldn't catch me doing that.
Truth is, I didn't think much about it. I just felt I had to do it.
Vamos, Hans, tío, más rápido.
This is quite a turnaround, isn't it?
What do you mean?
How long have we known each other? A few weeks?
Solo
Something
unas
like that.
pocas semanas. Parece que haya pasado más tiempo.
I was chasing wenches around Rattay and you were digging turnips. And now look at us. A pair of veterans.
Well,
I was an apprentice blacksmith, not a turnip digger.
No corrijas a Hans, que no le gusta. Veo que han quedado algunos soldados vivos. Menos mal porque... Caramba, Sir Hanus, ¿cómo se ha trasladado tan rápido del castillo hasta aquí?
He's a noble, right?
Yes. So am I.
Sir Radzig will be there.
Lo que decía, que me alegro que algunos soldados hayan sobrevivido porque, claro,
What should I say to him?
ahora hay que reconstruir
Don't
las
worry.
defensas.
It'll come to you. You'll see.
Well, I just hope he'll be there. Alive. What will you do now?
Not long ago, I only made plans 3 days ahead at most. Maybe I really could do something for Rattay and its people. Something really big. But there'll be plenty of time for that later.
Vaya, parece que los dos nos hemos curtido con esta historia. Y la verdad es que parece que haya pasado mucho más tiempo. Anda, que hay otros caballeros que nos siguen.
There's no sign of them. Move on. Glad to see Ispan kept his word, sir.
Not
Está
half as
vivo.
glad as I am, Your Grace.
Well, we kept our word too. And now Toth has had his head start and he's fair game. Which way do they go?
To the north, but I would be careful, Sir Hans.
Fear not, Your Grace. I have twice as many men as he. Well, I won't keep you any longer. I'm sure the two of you have a lot to say to each other. Let's go!
Así que Hans va a perseguir a Itzvan. Qué interesante.
I am. They treated me quite decently. Although they did steal my horse, so I'll have to go back on foot.
It looks like it's all over.
Not by a long shot. It won't be over until we get this mess cleared up.
And catch that bastard. How could we let him go?
Would you rather we killed him? Even if it meant Lady Stephanie and I died too?
No, of course not. But what was to stop us from killing him after the exchange?
Honor?
Honor?
If the word of honor of a nobleman could not be trusted, then he would never have agreed to the exchange.
Where's the honor in abandoning your son?
You know how it is. We were young. It happened. And I couldn't marry a commoner. Then your father, Martin, came along and took care of both of you.
He knew it.
What? That I was your father? Certainly. He was a great man. He took you as his own. And always kept an eye on you. Of that you can be sure.
I know so little about his past.
He told you nothing? Oddly enough, even though you don't have his blood, you're very like him. When he was around your age, he became bored of his trade and set out to see the world. He lived through many adventures, even fought in a war.
In a war?
Yes, in Poland, I believe. And I don't think he cared much for it.
That's why he wanted me to stay at home.
He spent some time in Prague, then settled in Kuttenberg. But it seems he quarreled with someone there and finally ended up here. You know the rest.
I loved him, but even so, I somehow always had a feeling I didn't quite fit in.
It was in your blood, I suppose.
I lost the one thing I had left from him. Your sword.
Ah, the sword. It's not my sword. It's yours. For a moment there, it was so near, yet so far. Oh, well, it can't be helped.
It was almost within my grasp, but just then I had something else on my mind.
Well, I think we may yet have a chance to get it back. This business with Toth is not yet over, unfortunately.
That's a chance I'd welcome. Not just to get the sword, but that bastard Istvan too. And then I'll find that German whoreson who torched Skalitz, and I'll slay him with it. I'll never forget his face. Or his name. Marquardt von Aulitz.
Those are noble intentions, son. But don't forget there are other things in this world that are worth living for.
Like what?
Look around you. Blue skies overhead, green grass underfoot, beautiful girls. Good wine, a few good friends, and a fine steed under your backside. Those are things worth living for. Though I can't deny that swine who killed your mother must pay for what he did. But it's better not to dwell too much on that at the cost of those other things. On the subject of steeds, I think we'll have to ride like the Knights Templar.
How's that?
2 up. One day I'll tell you how they got their seal. You can take the front.
Bueno, pues bonito momento padre
It's like I
hijo.
always imagined it would be, teaching my boy to ride. Although it would be better if you were a little smaller. My word, it's all go today, isn't it? Look who this is.
Ay Dios, a ver qué
I think I
ocurre.
know. It's Margrave Jobst.
The king's cousin? I wonder what he wants. I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Bueno, creo que son aliados. Dijo, ¿quién fue? ¿Janus o Divis? Que el Margrave estaba interesado. No sé si me puedo saltar los créditos. No, creo que no me lo puedo saltar. Bueno, pues nada, habrá que disfrutar de los créditos finales. Aunque bueno, no os vayáis muy lejos, que esto todavía no ha acabado. Aún nos queda reconstruir Privislavich y ver qué quiere el Magrab. Es decir, hay un pequeño epílogo después de los créditos, así que eso, que nadie se vaya. Muy bien, pues...
You're doing well, son.
Father.
Come now. You know who sired you.
That doesn't matter now. I miss you, Amar. I miss you very much.
You'll be fine. We're proud of you.
For what? I let you down. I lost the sword. I let that bastard get away.
Don't be so hard on yourself. There was nothing you could have done to save us. And someone has to live and carry the torch. As for the sword, it's just a thing.
You didn't want me fighting. Now look at me.
Standing up to evil isn't the same as sowing its seeds. You did what was right. I have to leave you now.
Oh, please.
You know I can't stay.
Will I ever see you again?
God knows. Make her proud.
Don't go.
Oh, don't go. No.
What on earth were you dreaming about? I couldn't wake you, and it's well past dawn. Sir Radzig wants you at the upper castle. The lords are in council with Jobst.
Right. I'll go straight away. What is it?
It's just... I don't know how to address you anymore. All of a sudden you're Sir Radzig's son, hobnobbing with lords and ladies. And here's me, as common as muck.
Oh, give over, you idiot. Do I look like a lord to you?
Not really. You're as much a lord as I am a nun. And I've never looked good in a habit.
Get out of here! Or I'll have you clapped in the stocks.
Bueno, parece que se lo toma con humor, así que... Y bueno, ha podido hablar en sueños con su padre. Estoy en zona privada, what the fuck. Estoy en la habitación de Capón, creo. Ah, vale. A ver, no voy a ir... Tengo que lavarme. Si quiero ir a ver alma grave. Iremos a ver qué quiere el más grave y después a ver si podemos reconstruir, acabar de reconstruir Privislavich y dejársela lista a Sir Divish. A ver, creo que no me da tiempo a ir a la casa de baños. Me lavaré aquí. Bueno, regular. Lo que pasa es que no sé si todo esto es porque tengo las armaduras hechas polvo. Coda de malla, gambesón... Sí. A ver, caballete. ¿Tenemos alguna armadura que esté en mejor estado? A ver, me pondré esto. Bueno, esto está un poco sucio, pero está en buen estado. De hecho, puedo vestirme de noble, no hace falta que vaya con armadura. Vale, no sé por qué me he pillado tantos guanteletes. Gambesón debería tener... Me pondré este gambesón. Vale, mucho mejor. Ahora tenemos un aspecto más presentable. Por cierto, aquí me han subido... Oh, me ha subido todo a nivel 20. Venga, sí que hay cosas... Ataque encadenado. Sádico. Cacería, sigilo. Voy, no sé si podremos desarrollar las habilidades o utilizarlas más bien. Porque lo gordo ya el asedio y ya lo hemos vivido. Pero bueno, a ver qué quiere el más grave. A ver, han dicho que estaba en el Castillo Mayor.
Ah, how? Are you going to the meeting with Margrave Jobst as well?
I am. What about Istvan? I assume...
That we didn't catch him? No. Because if we had, you'd be the first one to know. Have no fear. We'll get him eventually.
I hope you're right. Anyway, let's go and see what Jobst wants from us.
Bueno, Sir Hans no es que lleve... Tampoco esté muy lavado. Lleva toda la cara sucia, pero...
My lords, Christ's blessings on you all.
And on you, Lord Capon.
And this is my son, Henry.
I didn't know you had a son, Sir Radzig.
It came as a bit of a surprise to young Henry, too.
This gentleman here is John II of Liechtenstein, a member of my council.
I'm honored, gentlemen.
Come join us. Margrave Jobst was just about to tell us the reason for his visit. Your Grace?
I'm sure we're all agreed, Your Graces, that all this unrest must come to an end. This kingdom needs a king.
The question is, which king?
My cousin, Wenceslao IV, who is being held in captivity.
I have to confess, my lord, that your answer surprises me a little. If I'm correctly informed, until recently you sided with your other cousin, Sigismund.
That I cannot deny, and I have always stated my position plainly. But times have changed.
How have they changed, Your Grace?
Sir, there is one thing on which we undoubtedly concur. That King Wenceslaus, unfortunately, did not inherit his father's gift for governing. Sadly, his failures have cost Bohemia, the nobles, and our whole Luxembourg family a great deal of money and effort.
How did the king let it go so far, damn it?
It's in his temperament. He cares only for wine, women, and the hunt. A king, in fact, who never wanted to be king.
Then why didn't he just let his brother have the crown?
Young sir, the crown weighs heavy when there are duties to be performed, but to surrender it means giving up great privileges too.
But he did surrender power to his brother. When things started getting out of hand, Wenceslaus appealed to Sigismund for help in restoring order.
What, you're saying Wenceslas has invited him here?
This is starting to make my head spin.
Actually, it makes sense when you think about it. Sigismund wanted to re-establish the power of the whole House of Luxembourg. He thought if he helped Wenceslaus win the imperial crown, in return his brother would help him become the king of the Romans, and leave the actual reign of Bohemia and the empire to him. Sigismund would govern, while Wenceslaus could carry on doing what he was best at, enjoying the life of the imperial court.
Why wasn't Wenceslas crowned Holy Roman Emperor long ago? He was already elected king of the Romans. All he had to do was go and let the Pope put the damn imperial crown on his head.
Who knows? Maybe he'd prefer hunting and consorting with bathhouse wenches to spending time with the Pope.
Well, so would I must admit.
Sigismund's plan seemed sound enough, but it didn't quite work out, did it?
It worked for a while. He and his brother reached an agreement. Sigismund took over administration of the kingdom and began planning Wenceslas's journey to Rome for the imperial coronation. But then Wenceslas realized he would just be a puppet with a crown.
I must say, Margrave Jobst, Wenceslas and Prokop behave rather like naughty children in need of a good clout about the ears.
Sigismund would agree. He was already planning his rule of Bohemia, and all of a sudden, the rug was pulled from under him. I'd say he lost his patience and decided he'd drag Wenceslas to the coronation kicking and screaming if he had to. Just like a naughty child, as you say.
So he abducted him and your brother Prokop too, if I heard correctly.
Correct.
And you helped him do it, if I heard correctly.
Yes, your graces, it's true. I was there when Sigismund abducted Prokop. I thought everything could somehow be settled, that we could make my brother see sense. But Sigismund just wanted to put an end to the dispute once and for all, whatever the cost. There was nothing I could do to stop him. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. The worst of it is that it was all for nothing. Instead of putting a stop to the revolt, it escalated it, and the result is this chaos we have today.
That's true enough, sir. But I must admit now, I'm not sure what your position is. The king is incompetent, but we must protect him?
The simple truth, gentlemen, is that for all of Wenceslas's faults, we have no one else.
So we'll have to make do with his idleness.
People like him, though.
But what can we do now? Sigismund has the League of Lords behind him. Otto von Bergholf, Heinrich von Rosenberg.
The situation has gotten completely out of control. Now even the nobles of the League of Lords are realizing that Sigismund wasn't the right choice.
So now Bergholf is on your side. Are we to assemble an army together with him and face Sigismund on the field of battle?
We're not in Hungary now. Such affairs may be settled elegantly, without unnecessary hostilities or expenses. I have negotiated an alliance with the Hungarian bishops, the Polish, and of course the Czech nobility, against Sigismund. Every day he is losing the ground under his feet, and that's why I need your help too.
What kind of help, though? Sigismund has a massive army, and Rosenberg, Berghof, and Prague are behind him. Do you have an army you could face him with?
But that's not what I mean at all. There's been a revolt against Sigismund in Hungary, partly due to my efforts, and now he'll have to choose whether he wants to gain the Bohemian crown, which is a very risky enterprise, or hold on to the Hungarian one. He can't have both. And there's a tough struggle awaiting him in Hungary. I'm not sure he'll win, and Rosenberg and Berghoff know it too. They're not stupid. If the Bohemian nobility stands together, they will turn.
We are men of little consequence, Margrave. Radzig here lost everything because of his alliance with Wenceslas. Sir Divish came within a hair of the same fate. Even Rattay is defenseless against Sigismund and the League of Lords.
What's more, Your Grace, King Wenceslaus languishes in captivity in Vienna. He can't rule too well from there.
And what do you propose? To sit with your arms folded till the Bohemian lands are turned to ashes like Skalitz? We have to put a stop to this senseless war!
And do you know, sir, what the true position of the League of Lords is?
I'm not on the best of terms with them at this moment, so you'll have to ask them yourselves.
Yes. Why not? I'll go and visit Berghoff at his castle and we'll see what he tells me.
You know, that's not such a bad idea, young sir.
True. Though a little risky.
I doubt Berghoff would harm a blue-blooded envoy. And you can find out what he has to say about developments and what the League of Lords is planning. Then we'll decide what to do next.
I'll help you compose a letter to him.
I'd like Henry to come with me.
Why not? He's proven himself an able investigator, and he'll also be a good bodyguard if anything should happen.
And I'll send Sir John here to Kuttenberg to be my eyes and ears there. I believe both your reports will help us get a better grip on the situation.
When can you set out?
Just as soon as I've packed my things.
Excellent. Margrave Jobst and I will draft a letter. Get ready, and we'll meet back here.
Muy bien, pues parece que se va a formar una alianza contra Segismundo.
I expect it would be best to write it in your name as Lord of Light.
A ver, hablar con Radzig. ¿Dónde demonios está Radzig?
The question is how.
Ah, está aquí.
So, it looks like you're off on a mission.
Yes, I can't wait.
I don't want to dampen your spirits, my boy, but watch out. These are evil times, and who knows what can happen along the way. Not to mention that Berghoff is no saint.
Don't worry.
I know. You've shown you can fend for yourself, but do take care. You'll be traveling as Lord Capon's bodyguard. You'll be there to make sure nothing untoward happens to him. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears wide open. What Berghoff tells you is one thing, but what you see may be quite another.
Rest assured, Father.
And don't get embroiled in anything else. Just hand over the letter, hear out his reply, and return.
Yes.
Very well. Berghoff is at Trotsky Castle. I think you'll find it quite an eye-opener. It's one of the finest castles in the land. It's 3 days' ride from here, so unless you hit a snag along the way, you'll be back soon enough. Any questions?
Caramba, sí que hay preguntas.
I'm getting a bit lost in the Luxembourg lineage. It all seems a bit too tangled.
The Luxembourgs have ruled the Empire and Bohemia for almost 100 years now. Emperor Charles brought this land to prominence. When he was in power, things had never been so good. Wenceslas and Sigismund are his sons, but by different mothers. Jobst and Prokop are their cousins. They were entrusted with governing Moravia. But instead, they've been in a bitter armed feud for years, and now Sigismund's fallen out with Wenceslas. Wenceslas also had another brother, the youngest, John of Görlitz, who was most probably poisoned. They seem like a hot-blooded lot. It's hard to keep up with their affairs, since they tend to change their alliances from one day to the next.
Who is he really, this Jobst?
The cousin of King Wenceslas? He's the Margrave of Moravia. I admit I don't know what to make of him myself. Until recently, he was allied with the League of Lords. For a time, he even served Rupert of the Palatinate against the king. And now suddenly, he's reversed his position. I don't know what led him to do it, and one can't help being suspicious. It's best to keep a watchful eye on him. But he really is the leader of the resistance against Sigismund these days. We'll just have to see how it all turns out.
Vale, no me estoy enterando de nada de
I'm a bit
todos
concerned
estos
so many people seem
linajes.
to think so little of King Wenceslas. You knew him, didn't you? What's he really like?
Well, there's no straightforward answer to that question. He certainly makes a great hunting and drinking companion, but he can be very fiery and impetuous when things don't go how he'd like them. He never had much of a head for high office. He finds it tiresome. But once a man's grasped the scepter, it's hard to let it go again. You can't just abscond. You've seen for yourself what happens when he disappears for a few months. Better a bad but legitimate king than a bloody war over the throne.
Who is this Prokop that Job spoke of?
Jobst's brother, the king's cousin. He and Jobst warred over Moravian supremacy for years. Then they were allies for a while, betrayed Wenceslas and sided with Rupert of the Palatinate. But after Sigismund abducted Wenceslas, Prokop fomented a revolt against him, and Sigismund had him captured. Politics. Make of it what you will. I, for one, can't make head or tail of it most of the time.
Ya, eso mismo digo yo, no me estoy enterando de nada.
The League of Lords and that Berghoff we're off to see. Who are they exactly?
The lords of the powerful houses. Heinrich of Rosenberg, Otto of Berghoff, Heinrich of Radetz, and others. They're unhappy with the way their influence declined after Wenceslas surrounded himself with the lesser orders of nobility. They abducted the king years ago and made him bow to their will. They got away with it that time, and now they've joined forces with Sigismund and done it again. But now it seems that Sigismund's behavior is starting to rub them up the wrong way, so they may well be thinking twice. We'll see what Berghoff has to say.
I don't know all that much about Sigismund.
He's the king's younger brother and king of Hungary in his own right. 7 years ago, he led a crusade against the Turks and was defeated at Nicopolis. Some say it was due to the recklessness of the French knights, most of whom were mercilessly slaughtered. Sigismund is ambitious and capable. He might well make a better ruler than Wenceslas, but he's arrogant, and to our misfortune, brutal. Not long ago, he himself was held captive by the Hungarian nobility. They dislike him as much as some of the Czech and German noblemen do his brother Wenceslas. Ironically, Wenceslas joined forces with Jobst to liberate him. And now this is how Sigismund repays his brother. There's no doubt about it, God does move in mysterious ways.
Rupert of the Palatinate. That's a name I hadn't heard before today.
Rupert is the Prince-Elector of the Palatinate.
What's a Prince-Elector?
The Prince-Electors are dignitaries of the Holy Roman Empire who have the right to elect the King of the Romans, who would then be crowned Holy Roman Emperor by the Pope. Rupert took the title for himself with the help of 3 other Prince-Electors, even though Wenceslas had already been appointed. Some of the nobility in the empire recognized Rupert's claim, but when he went to Rome to be crowned emperor, it turned into a fiasco. Now he's doing his utmost to get Wenceslas to acknowledge him, but so far without success. So, now we have 2 kings of the Romans. Jobst sided with Sigismund for a while, but now he switched allegiance. He seems to do that quite a lot.
Esto vi un vídeo una vez sobre esto del rey de romanos y el emperador y todo esto, y era una liada de cojones.
That young man, Sir John of Liechtenstein. Why is he here?
The Liechtensteins are a powerful Austrian family with estates in Austria and Moravia. Sir John sits on Jobst's council. Since the king's being held captive in Vienna, I suppose it makes sense to have a powerful Austrian house as allies. It could be very useful.
Ok. Después de esta
Very well.
paliza...
Take the letter from Sir Hanush. And good luck, son.
Ok. Tomar la carta.
I believe we have written it well, gentlemen.
Without a doubt. No one could deduce from this whether we are Sigismund's allies or foes.
I must travel back to Brno now, but soon I will go to Brandenburg and I will stop here on the way back. By then, Sir Capon should be back and we can discuss how to proceed.
Right. Before you leave, my lord, there is one thing that gives me no rest. Why did Sigismund come as a foe? It makes no sense.
If I may, sir, I think I can explain.
Oh, please enlighten us, young sir.
I live not far from Hungary, where Sigismund reigns. It is a savage country, and the constant war with the Turks has hardened the people. They need a monarch with an iron hand. So when Sigismund felt the wind of revolt, he reacted as he would at home. Only what works on the Hungarian nobles does not work here in Bohemia.
Bringing order is one thing, but slaughtering and pillaging with a horde of barbarians quite another. What purpose does that serve?
But Sigismund did give the Bohemian nobles a chance to take his side. It was only when they refused his ultimatum that he lost patience and took to the sword.
As for the barbarians, he could afford nothing better. The Hungarian nobility would gain nothing from joining his campaign in Bohemia. He didn't have enough coin for a regular army, and so he recruited the Cumans. What he does not pay them, they make up for in plunder.
But in the end, he didn't have enough to even satisfy the Cumans. That's why he raided Kuttenberg and Skalitz. He wanted the silver.
That makes sense.
My lords, how's the letter coming along?
It's done.
Then we can be on our way.
Now remember what we said, boy. All you have to do is deliver the letter, listen to the answer, and come back here. Don't provoke Berghoff in any way.
Provoke? Me? Never, Uncle. We'll be back in a few days. Farewell, your graces. Come, Henry, my men are waiting.
I wish you Godspeed.
Muy bien, pues nos vamos a ver. Enhorabuena, has completado. Vale.
Come now, Hal. My men are mustered in the courtyard. We can get going.
Vale, nos falta acabar. Nos falta acabar la iglesia de Privislavich.
What the? Damn.
Nuestro perrete también está contento que nos vamos de excursión fuera de los dominios de Sir Janusz. Ah, tengo que hablar con él, a lo mejor.
So, can we set off now, Henry?
Of course. I can't wait.
So, to horse! The Lord of Berghoff is bound to be waiting as eagerly.
Vamos a ver ahora en cuanto salgamos de la ciudad y cuando acampemos. Bueno, el sol está saliendo por el este. Pero bueno, antes de que salgamos de los dominios de Sir Janusz.
I'm getting used to it. What about Radzig? Has he accounted for not owning up to you the whole time?
He explained it. All will be well, I think.
Glad to hear it. It's far more acceptable for a nobleman to befriend a noble bastard than a blacksmith's son.
Mind you, don't come to blows with a blacksmith, my young lord.
Bueno, lo que decía Capón, que es eso, que ahora nuestra amistad está más fundamentada.
Well, I admit all the scheming has me a little lost. I thought Sigismund was the devil, Wenceslao a martyr, those on his side the heroes, and those against him the villains. I believed we'd rescue the king and all would be well again, but now it looks a lot more complicated.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't expect the noble lords to be as noble as the angels, but I hadn't expected such a sewer. They behave like children.
I can't fathom how after all this backstabbing they're somehow still on speaking terms.
I don't know either. Beggars belief. Did you know that King Wenceslas is such a...
Feckless drunkard? Not really. And to be honest, I'm not sure I wanted to know. I slept better believing my fate was watched over by a wise and powerful monarch.
So did I.
What a dismal world when you can't keep trust in your own king.
On the other hand, times were better with him here than with him gone.
Isn't that the truth?
Bueno, vamos a ver, antes de que salgamos del mapa.
If I were him, I'd have had enough of my brother even sooner.
But he's a monster. Look at what those hordes of his are getting up to here. What he did in Skalitz.
True enough. On the other hand, if Wenceslas and Prokop hadn't double-crossed him, none of this would have happened.
No one forced him to burn Skalitz.
That's a fact. But he couldn't let them shit all over him either. Not that I'm defending him.
He's a weasel.
No doubt about that.
Qué raro, no nos... Bueno, sé que nos vienen siguiendo a caballo nuestros hombres, pero están bastante apartados.
Sir Hanush could tell you a thing or two about him.
Why?
Last winter, a certain Sir Jan Sokol of Lamberg, a well-known knight, or robber baron to some, tried to occupy the city of Iglau, which was on the orders of none other than Prokop.
And what has that got to do with Hanush?
Well, he was there with him. Of course, that's not something to brag about in front of Jobst.
And what was it all about?
They wanted to occupy a city that was on the side of the League of Lords, but despite there being several hundred strong, they didn't take it. For one thing, they couldn't get past the Iglau women, with their pitchforks and cauldrons of hot water.
I would never have thought of Sir Hanush as such a rebel.
And have you heard anything about Rupert of the Palatinate?
A little. He can't manage even to wrest power from a king who doesn't much care for ruling and isn't fighting back. That doesn't seem like a man who has what it takes to rule. And that's all I need to know.
Bueno, aquí tenemos Neuhof.
Do you know anything about him?
I haven't heard much good about him, but I have a feeling that some other nobles are quite in awe of him. And his castle is apparently quite impressive. I'll be interested to see for myself.
Aquí empezó todo, bueno, todo después de Skalitz. La masacre que hubo aquí en los establos.
Pompous. The king doesn't seem to like them much. He's chosen to let the lesser ranks of the nobility into his circle, men like your father. I admit I don't blame him one bit, but the lords weren't happy about their lost influence, so they put their foot down. If I were Wenceslas, I'd have let them hang after they abducted me the first time. But he gave them seats at the provincial council? Little wonder they're back at their old tricks.
Vamos a ver, espero que me dejen ir a Privislavitz antes de que nos salgamos del mapa y así poder acabar la construcción de la ciudad. Vale, pasados los establos de Neuhof y ya estaremos fuera de el territorio de Hanush. Pero yo juraría que por aquí hay un lugar en el que se puede hacer un stop. A ver si Hans nos deja escabullirnos para ir a reconstruir Privislavitz, lo que nos falta por hacer. Yo también estoy pensando que a lo mejor tendría que haber... salido después, o sea, antes de hablar con Capon en el patio, haber ido a Privislavich primero. Parece que el caballo de Capon es tan manco como los nuestros. Vale, ahí hay un campamento. Y es eso, me parece que antes de salirnos del mapa vamos a parar ahí. Y aprovecharemos eso para viajar. Qué susto. A ver, hablar con Capon. Sí, ellos van a descansar aquí, nosotros vamos a... A ver, como me da pereza... Me da pereza ir hasta Privislavich. Iremos con el viaje rápido, porque Privislavich está a tomar por culo de donde estamos nosotros. No me gusta usar el viaje rápido, pero... sí. ¿Tienes demasiada carga? ¿What? Ah. A ver, ¿qué tengo? Esto fuera. Esto fuera. Vale, ahora ya estoy... Ya no voy sobrecargado. Vamos a ver... Privislavich. Hola. A ver. Sí, quiero hacer el viaje rápido. Caramba, pues tan rápido no va. Pero es eso, sí, acabamos de construir la iglesia y después volvemos aquí. Pasamos por la taberna del Claro. Esta es la granja quemada. Vamos, Henry, dale. El molino de viento, obstáculo. A ver, evitar. ¿Será que alguien aquí nos está tendiendo una emboscada? Pero lo que decía, no me gusta usar el viaje rápido, pero en este caso, otra vez, peregrino. A ver.
Help me, somebody.
What happened to you?
Those cumin devils killed my husband. Me and the children had to flee for our lives. To live in the woods, like wild beasts. So I beg here at the roadside. Nothing else is left to me. Be merciful, good sir. Wouldn't you have a morsel of food for me, sir? I haven't eaten for 3 days. Everything I find, I give to the little ones.
Dar algo de comer, si tuviera algo, dar 5 groshens.
Of course. Here you are.
Thank you, sir. Thank you 100-fold.
Ok, pues sigamos nuestro viaje hasta Privislavich. No sabía que salía esto, que si hacías el viaje rápido te indicaba si te encontrabas con algún peregrino. A ver, nos encontraremos alguna emboscada. Veo que aquí está yendo muy lento. Cadáver. No, evitar. Evitar que un cadáver significa una emboscada. Obstáculo. Evitamos también ya que puede ser otra emboscada. Bueno, por fin llegamos a Privislavich. Caramba, está cayendo una buena. Pero es eso, no podíamos marcharnos sin acabar la tarea que se nos encomendó. Veamos, la iglesia.
I've decided what to build.
Vamos, Marius, que he hecho un largo viaje para...
You've decided? Good. Let's get building.
Un largo viaje para acabar de construir la ciudad.
We're going to build here?
Indeed. Can we begin?
I'm ready.
I'll just quickly check again that we have everything we need. We've still got the means. We'll get stuck in then.
A ver cómo ha quedado la iglesia después de todas las reparaciones. Pues tampoco... Bueno, sé que el tejado se ha mejorado, pero la torre, no sé, parece un poco extraño, tan de madera. Vale, ahora lo que falta es el altar y los frescos. Tú, no te vayas. ¿Qué tal va todo? Empecemos a construir.
Certainly, Master Bailiff. What's it to be?
Edificios, mejoras. Iglesia.
It's time the church had a new altar. It's not the house of God without one.
Very well. Come along with me. Once we're there, I'll oversee the building, so they don't botch anything.
We're going to build here?
Right here. Ready to start?
I'm ready.
I'll just quickly check again that we have everything we need.
Yo pensaba que tendríamos más tiempo para hacer esto.
We'll get stuck in then.
Pero bueno, lo estamos haciendo ahora deprisa y corriendo. Pero en fin, tampoco pasa nada. Vale, bonito altar. Y ya solo quedan los frescos. Marius, ¿a dónde te vas? Soperro. Que nos falta aún una cosa. A la iglesia le faltan los frescos.
Marius, there's work to be done.
Venga, vuelve a levantar el culo. A ver, diario. Renovar la iglesia. Vale, sí, solo falta...
Good choice. Come with me.
Solo falta esto, los frescos, y Privislavich estará completa. Hombre, mira, si hasta tenemos sacerdote y todo.
We're going to build here?
Yes. Shall we get started?
I'm ready.
I'll just quickly check again that we have everything we need. All good. We can start construction.
Muy bien, pues ahora sí, Privislavich tiene su iglesia como Dios manda. Vale, tenemos que informar a Sir Divish. No hemos participado en el torneo, pero... Caramba, bonito, ¿eh? Lo hemos dejado muy bonito. Perrete, no te me pongas en medio. A ver, hay que informar a Sir Divish... que no sé si estará en Talmberk. A ver, diario. Un lugar al que llamar hogar. Vale, está en Talmberk, así que nos viene de camino. Volveré a usar el viaje rápido. Talmberk. Vale, aquí esta es la ruta que nosotros usábamos, lo único que entrábamos por este puente derribado, peregrino. A ver.
Stop. What is it? You look like a well-travelled man, and I'm looking for someone like that. It's like this. I know of the whereabouts of some treasure. Well, treasure is a lofty word. Simply hidden valuables. And this information I can share with you for a certain price.
It's
a rather wild story. But worth a try. Excellent. Here, take this. And I wish you good fortune in your search.
No sé si será alguno de los mapas que ya tenemos. Mapa del tesoro 14. Ratay Neuhof. Hombre, es cerca de donde estamos con Hans. Podríamos echar un vistazo. Pero lo que queremos es ir... ¿Dónde está Talmberk? Aquí. Es una pena no haber obtenido estos mapas del tesoro antes. Porque ahora es bastante... Mira, parece que Talmberk también ha sido reconstruido. A ver, Sir Divish. No está aquí. No, Lady Stephanie. ¿Dónde se habrá metido? Maldita sea, tío. ¿Dónde está Sir Divish? Vale, parece que está en la muralla. Pues yo aquí no lo veo. Vamos, Sir Divish, que Capón nos está esperando. En serio, tío, ¿dónde se ha metido este desgraciado? Vale, está... Está en el otro lado, parece. ¿Pero qué me cuentas? Si aquí no hay nadie. Vale, estará en alguna habitación, pero... A ver, demonios. Ah, está aquí.
Sir Divish, I finished the assignment you gave me. Pribyslavitz is up and running once more, and making money. And the church is as good as new.
Indeed? That's excellent news. I can't wait to see it for myself.
Of course. We can go right away.
Take care.
Bueno, nos ha costado más de lo que pensaba, pero...
Welcome to Pribyslavitz.
Well now, I've heard some reports, but to see it with my own two eyes, beautiful.
Me and Marius did our best.
As you saw on the way here, the village is prospering, trade is booming, and the villagers are doing well.
I saw the new buildings as we were riding in. You've both done a magnificent job. I owe you my gratitude and commendation.
Thank you, sir.
How did you manage it so quickly?
We had to clear the woods and the ruins of the former buildings.
I arranged supplies of building materials and victuals from traders nearby.
Thanks to which we were able to build
Y saqueamos un montón de cadáveres en busca de dinero.
The dominant feature of the whole village.
I'm especially proud of our church.
Indeed, you have plenty to be proud of. Thank you both. I can say wholeheartedly that you have not disappointed me. On the contrary, you have exceeded my expectations.
It's been an honor.
I quite concur.
Master Marius, I'd like you to stay on in the village. As soon as things have settled in the province, we can begin with the expansion as planned.
As you wish, my lord.
As for you, Henry, as I promised, you shall continue to have the income from the village, as well as the bailiff's office.
Thank you, my lord.
I thank you, Henry. Few could manage what the two of you have achieved here.
Ok, pues Sir Divish está contento. Así que ahora sí. Podemos volver con Hans. ¿Dónde? Ah, vale, digo, ¿dónde está? El tesoro que nos han dado, bueno, es igual. Creo que tampoco merece la pena. ¿Cómo? ¿No puedes viajar rápido? Ah, hostia. Vale. No, mal. No puedo viajar a donde está Capón. Lo que tengo que hacer es viajar a Neuhof, que es lo que está más cerca. Ahora sí. Pero si llegó a saber que... Ya estamos, evítalo. Si llegó a saber que tardaríamos tanto en reconstruir Pribyslavitz, habría puesto más esfuerzos antes. Pero bueno, creo que en cuanto volvamos con Capon ya sí se habrá terminado la historia. Así que bueno, puedo aprovechar este momento para ya despedir nuestra serie sobre Kingdom Come Deliverance. Ha sido un viaje, la verdad que largo, pero muy bueno. Es un juego que la verdad me sorprendió muchísimo por la profundidad que tiene y el rigor histórico que tiene. Y bueno, es un juego que siempre recomiendo. Y a los que hayáis seguido la serie, pues muchas gracias por seguir estos humildes vídeos. La verdad es que me parece que la historia es muy buena y que bueno, que otorga muchas horas de entretenimiento. Así que ha sido un placer hacer esta serie de vídeos. A ver, mi caballo. Vamos a ver qué tiene que decirnos Hans. Y a ver si nos vamos ya para ver el castillo de Berghof. Aquí es donde el caballo de Capun también se ha quedado encajado. Si es que... Mira, ahí están. Capun y sus hombres. Siento haberme desviado unos días, pero tenía que acabar el encargo de Privislavich. Sir Hans.
How about it, Henry? Can we go? Are you ready for this?
Estamos listos.
At last I'll get to see more of the country and have a bit of an outing.
Quite.
Hemos logrado el trofeo de Virgen por no haber tenido ninguna relación durante el juego.
We're helping to save the king.
Instead of saving his drunken majesty, I'd rather find that horseman who murdered my parents, get the sword back from him, and skewer him with it.
Cheer up, Henry. I have a feeling you'll get your chance one day, and it won't be long in coming. Forward, men! Audentes fortuna juvat!
Pues ahora sí, el juego ha acabado y la serie ha acabado. Espero que todos la hayáis disfrutado tanto como yo. Y bueno, lo dejamos aquí y seguiremos en el canal haciendo otros juegos. Nos vemos próximamente. Hasta pronto.